www.untitled.org. Ooh, I like when you press that one.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the High School Football Scoreboard here on the Sports Talk Media Network, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Happy Friday night to you. I hope you're having a great night watching high school football across the state of South Carolina. Maybe you have already been to a ball game. Maybe you're still at one. Maybe you're watching it on television or listening to it on the radio, but listening to us as well, either over the radio or over one of our streams. So happy to have you with us tonight as we come to you on the road once again. Bunch of scores are already in, and some weather issues up in the upstate, I understand. Like that Spartanburg game against Dutch Fork didn't kick off till a little bit after 9:30. They've had some storm-related issues, maybe some lightning and things like that in the upstate. So that has impeded the progress of some of those games. And then, around the state and here in the Low Country and Charleston area, games are going on. One thing that I've been noticing watching the Beaufort and Fort Dorchester game on the local channel out of Charleston, a lot of cramping going on with some players, especially in the third quarter of this game. I'm not sure if that is indicative of the rest of the state or not, but, when it's 80-something degrees and it's humid, you're going to have some folks going down with cramps despite how much you drink and how much you stretch and how much you are, how well you are in shape and all that. It'll catch you at any time. There was one play where one Fort Dorchester player and one Beaufort player went down at the same time dealing with cramps. So I'm sure that's been the case at many places around the state tonight. All right, so a bunch of scores are in already. We want to catch you up on what we've got in to this point. David Shelton, who is at the Fort Dorchester Beaufort game, will be with us once he finishes up some of the duties there as far as covering that game, talking to coaches, and getting all the information that he needs. He'll be joining us from down in the Low Country here in just a little bit. So, again, one of the big games of the night, Dutch Fork and Spartanburg, and they were delayed in getting underway. We'll try to get an update for you on that game, the progress of that game, what the how that game is moving along as soon as some scores start to pop up about coming out of Spartanburg in the upstate. As far as the scores that we have in to this point, final scores, here we go in the upstate. It's Crescent defeating Dixie 34-10. Indian Land, a winner over Timberland by a final score of 28-0. Moving to the Midlands, we've got Beaufort over McBee 35-8. Chapin shuts out Mid Carolina 45-0. It was Pillion defeating Columbia High 15-12. Orangeburg Wilkinson with a 20-8 win tonight over Keenan. Saluda big over Rich Spring Minetta 34-7. River Bluff shuts out Swansea tonight by a final score of 52-0. In the PD Grand Strand, Dillon plays its first game of the season, rolls it up on Lamar 41-0, the final score. Latta goes to 2-0 on the season. Hey, what can I say about those Vikings? I can't think the last time they were 2-0. Maybe back in the 50s. Latta beats East Clarendon tonight 31-0. Lee Central beats Great Falls 28-8. Loris defeats North Myrtle Beach 15-7. It was Manning over Scotts Branch 32-14, and in a heck of a ball game. I don't know details yet about how this one ended, but what a ball game. South Florence defeats Oceanside Collegiate 29-28. That South Florence team with Lenora Sellers is a dandy, and Oceanside Collegiate, of course, with Monroe Freeland. Marlboro County has beaten Sharon tonight by a final score of 40-12. All right, Low Country, we've got Hanahan defeating Berkeley 22-17. Porter Gaud with a 41-12 win over Burke. West Ashley downs May River 7-3. In action, as we speak, 2.5 minutes to play. Fort Dorchester leading Beaufort 21-6. Fort D led 14-0 at the half. Beaufort took the second half kickoff and kept the football for most of the third period and knocked it in for a touchdown, missed the extra point to make it 14-6, but Fort D came back with another touchdown, an extra point to go up 21-6. Beaufort is threatening as we speak, and as we speak, their quarterback throws an interception in the end zone. So that's going to kill that threat by Beaufort. Looks like Fort Dorchester, the Patriots, are going to get a win tonight. Right now, they lead Beaufort by a count of 21-6. In the Skeezer ranks tonight, Hammond, bouncing back from its loss last week, shuts out Florence Christian 49-0. Ben Lippin over Heathwood Hall 34-6. Bethesda Academy 40. John Paul II 24. Northside Christian a winner over Greenwood Christian. Final score there was 28-12. And Williamsburg Academy 47. Palmetto Christian nothing. Wilson Hall defeats Hilton Head Christian by a final score of 28-7. All right, some other scores now that are coming in that haven't been plotted yet by region on our score sheet. So we'll just read them off to you as we have them. In the big showdown in Lawrence County, it was Clinton rolling it up on Lawrence tonight, 55-28. Boy, that Clinton team is really, really good, and they can run the football, that's for sure. And they do it tonight and pick up an impressive win over their arch rivals from Lawrence, 55-28. Lucy Beckham squeezes out an 8-6 win over Wando over in Mount Pleasant tonight. Marlboro County, as I mentioned, defeats Cheraw 40-12. Gilbert 49, Batesburg Leesville 14. Lakewood shuts out Fox Creek by a final score of 30-0. West Florence over Lake City 32-7. It was Somerville 38, Carolina Forest 7. Andrews with a 32-12 win tonight over Georgetown. That's a rivalry game of two towns about 15-20 miles apart. Ooh, this was a good ball game. Sumter High comes to Columbia, or actually more like in the Blythewood area, and edges out Ridgeview. Final score there, 15-14. Meantime, over in Greenwood, Sandy Creek of Georgia, I think one of the power teams over in the Atlanta area, they beat Greenwood at Babb Stadium by a score of 46-21. Appling County of Georgia, a winner over Aiken, final score 42-7. It was James Island 52 and Stall nothing. Belton Honeypath edges West Side tonight, 19-17. Final score from the upstate. Socastee with our man Chris Bergen on the call, a 21-0 winner over Silver Bluff. The guys from Petticoat Junction come to the beach, and they were pretty dominated by Socastee. Socastee's got a fine quarterback and receiving combination. They can throw the deep ball. Now, the quarterback got hurt, and when Chris joins us with the report, maybe he'll have details. The quarterback got hurt in the third quarter. I don't know what his status is. Socastee wins it 21-0. Crescent, a 34-10 win tonight over Dixie. And with that, I think we are up to date on the scores that we have in at this point. We'll continue to update them as we, of course, go through the night, and we're waiting for David Shelton to join us as well once his game is over, and that game is rolling to an end. The clock is moving, and Fort D's in the victory formation. They're going to win it over Beaufort 21-6. So the Patriots of Fort Dorchester open their season with a very nice win tonight over a good team from Beaufort, 21-6 final score there. And let's see what else we can pick up on here from games that we're seeing some scores coming in on now. Some of these might be repeats, so bear with me if I'm repeating some. Williamsburg Academy over Palmetto Christian. We have it there, 49-0 on this score board, but let me see if we've already got a final on that. We have a final of 47-0, so we'll go with that, 47-0 for Williamsburg Academy. We've got Central of Pageland leading Carolina Bobcats out of Lake City, 35-0. It's Philip Simmons. That's the second quarter reported score over St. James, 23-20. In the fourth quarter, Waccamaw leading Carvers Bay, 26-18. And let's see, what else do we have? We got that one. We talked about that. We did this. This would be a Cross defeating Hemingway tonight. Final score 44-0, according to this report. Of course, the Ainer-King Street game goes down as a 1-0 Ainer win because of a forfeit by King Street. The head coach there, Brian Smith, forfeiting after his players acted up following their game last week, and I guess he took it upon himself to say, we're not going to play this week. Get the message here, fellas. Johnsonville over Green Sea Floyd's 28-0. And let's see. We've got North Augusta beating – no. Sorry. That is not football. Sometimes you get some baseball mixed in on this scoreboard along with the football. Okay, I think we've updated things from that score stream scoreboard. And let's double check our SC Sports Source scoreboard one more time. They do a great job of aggregating scores from across the state. Hunter Connor Tyler over Eau Claire, 22-12. White Knoll beat Spring Valley, 36-9. It was Daniel. Not a final. Daniel at the half, because it was a rain-delayed start, maybe some lightning mixed in there as well. Daniel at the half, leading easily, 35-7. Kings Academy beat Wardlaw, 38-16. And Crestwood over Gray Collegiate, 37-28. Gray Collegiate off to an 0-2 start with that loss tonight. Okay, we're up to date on the scores at this point. And so let's hit a break, and we'll come back and get with Billy Baker, who was at the Hanahan-Berkeley game. And we're going to get to Billy in just a moment. Got to hit this break as we have crossed the 15-minute mark on the program. So we'll go to the break, and when we come back, we'll get the hot call from Billy Baker. We'll get more reports and more scores for you as well. Just getting started on this Friday night edition of the Founders Federal Credit Union High School Football Scoreboard here across the state of South Carolina on the Sports Talk Media Network. Back in a moment.
What's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams, and you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
Score a touchdown with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Relax with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
If an insurance company is there to sell you insurance, shouldn't it also be there to service it with real people? At Farm Bureau Insurance, we're here to help with experienced agents ready to provide personal service when you need it most. Call today for your free no-obligation review for auto, home, and life insurance that's custom tailored just for you.
Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, Buddy Bridges and Farm Bureau Insurance have the right policy for you. Call Buddy today in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174.
South Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company, Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi.
All right, back we are on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union on this second Friday night of the football season in South Carolina. Lexington big over South Aiken tonight, 63. Well, let me rephrase that. It was a big score not a big margin of victory, 63-56 in a shootout. The Wildcats winning over the Thoroughbreds, 63-56. Midland Valley edges Strom-Thurmond, 29-23. Dorchester Academy over OP, Orangeburg Prep, 22-20. Hunter County Tyler, 22. Eau Claire, 12. All right, we have Billy Baker. When Billy's on the line, we know it's a hot call, and he was at the Hanahan-Berkeley game tonight. Billy, welcome in. Take it away.
Hello, Phil. Art Craig in his 20th year of head coaching, and he's on his third school in Berkeley County at Hanahan High School. Against Berkeley tonight, Jerry Brown, who hopes to coach the Shrine Bowl this year, he told me yet has not heard anything, but he will coach the Shrine Bowl if they have the Shrine Bowl tonight. It's tied at the half, 14-14. Here is the difference in the game. Berkeley takes the third period kickoff. They have the ball for almost 9 minutes. Their drive stalls inside the 5, and they get a field goal. They kick off to Hanahan. They come down the field, long drive, and they score. And that's the end of the ball game. And they go for 2 and make it, and the score is 22-17. This game had a ton of underclassmen talent in the game. Hanahan quarterback, just a sophomore, by the name of Jaden Cummings, 8 for 11, 91 yards and a touchdown, and a junior running back with great low pad level, Kevon Rivera, 11 rushes, 76 yards, and a touchdown. There is a senior in the game who played well. Braden Joseph caught 4 passes for 54 yards. On defense, this is a real good one, a strong safety. Malik Ori for Hanahan had 13 tackles, and he's a free safety. So what Coach Craig did against Berkeley's Fleckbone, he pushed that free safety up in the line. For Berkeley, junior fullback Javon Wigfall had an outstanding game, 21 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. Berkeley's quarterback, McCray Driggers, a junior, was 14 for 74. Art Craig will always tell you when you beat a Jerry Brown coach team, it is a quality win. So let's go to Art Craig live from Hanahan High School after a thrilling 22-17 win. And a last note, Berkeley got down to the 5-yard line when the clock hit 0. Ooh. Here is Coach Craig.
All right.
Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Coach, good evening. Congratulations. It sounded like you had to hold on for dear life at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had 5 plays inside the 15-yard line, and our kids just hung in there. Anytime you play a Jerry Brown team, they're going to be well coached. And I just thought for us not to get to play last week because of the rain and for them to have a game under the belt, I thought our kids played really hard and kind of persevered through it. And it was just nice to get this win.
What makes playing against a Jerry Brown coach team so difficult, besides the fact they're going to be physical and they're going to play hard? I mean, schematically, what makes them tough?
Well, I mean, Jerry's going to find your weakness, and he's going to, or what he thinks he can, try to expose. And I'm not saying we have a lot of weaknesses, but I mean, he's been around long enough that he's going to put together a heck of a game plan. And it was really kind of role reversals. I'm usually the ball control guy. I think that he was snapping the ball at 32, 33, 34 seconds, and we were snapping it every, 15, 16, 17 seconds this time. So, but it was just, I was proud of our kids. My sophomore's a young quarterback who I think's got a really good future, and we're still pretty young, but our kids are learning to play hard. So it was nice to get this win.
Well, you're known as a defensive coach, always having really good defensive teams. You obviously played good defense tonight, and you came up big when you had to in the last few seconds of the ball game. What do you like about your team defensively this year?
Well, again, I think that we're a lot more physical than we've been in my first 2 years here. And we've got about 7 guys on defense that had to start for us as freshmen and sophomores, and they've kind of been through it. And you can just tell the maturity levels they're at, and they can hold up to some of these this physical offenses, that we couldn't do. I don't know that we would have won this game last year, but it was just nice to see our kids fight through the whole thing.
All right, what's up for you next?
We got a week off, and then we get good old Lucy Beckham.
Good old Lucy Beckham. I say she. I want to say she. They got a hard-fought win tonight as well by a very narrow margin over Wando, 8-6. So good luck with that. So you had a game postponed, or I guess canceled maybe. You play tonight, and you're off again next week.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be that way. But, last week Georgetown stayed over here for 2 hours, and we waited. And so our off week just ends up being next week. And after this game here, it might not be a bad idea.
Give you 2 weeks to work them out a little bit, huh?
Yes, sir.
Coach, as always, thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, our Craig from Hanahan. And they can play some defense. Good defensive game tonight. You hold Berkeley to 17, and you hold them out of the end zone at the very end. That's an accomplishment. And they win it 22-17. Final score there. Congratulations to Hanahan on the win tonight. Give you some other final scores that are coming in. Louisville beats Wagner Sally. Big, 50-24. Whale Branch over North Charleston, 19-8. Told you about Fort Dorchester, 21-6 tonight over Beaufort. Waccamaw Downs Carvers Bay, 33-18. Brooklyn Casey Airport, rivalry game there, 31-20. BC wins it over the Eagles. And it was, as we mentioned, Lexington edging out South Aiken in a shootout, 63-56 the final. Midland Valley Downs Strom Thurmond, 29-23. Those are some of the more recent scores to come in as final scores. We continue to update the scoreboard here as the scores pop up. Lee Academy over Thomas Sumter, final score, 35-7. And if you're just tuning in, we'll hit some of the other scores that you might have missed earlier as games are finishing and folks are joining us. Clinton over Lawrence, 55-28. Crescent Downs Dixie, 34-10. Indian Land defeats Timberland, 28-0. It was Gilbert 49, Batesburg Leesville 14, Buford 35, McBee 8, Crestwood 37, Gray Collegiate 28, Hunter Connor Tyler 22, Eau Claire 12, Lakewood 30, Fox Creek nothing, Chapin 45, Mid Carolina nothing, Orangeburg Wilkinson over Keenan 20-8, Pillion defeats Columbia High 15-12, Saluda tops Ridge Spring Monetta 34-7. River Bluff takes it to Swansea 52-0, and Whitenall the same to Spring Valley. Final score there 36-9. South Florence, one of the better games of the night. South Florence 29, Oceanside Collegiate 28, Manning down Scotts Branch 32-14. Loris defeats North Myrtle Beach 15-7. It was Marlboro County over Cheraw 40-12. Lee Central downs Great Falls 28-6. West Florence 32, Lake City 7. Latta goes to 2-0. Yes, I'm going to say it every time. Latta goes to 2-0. The Vikings 31-0 over East Clarendon, and Dillon shuts out Lamar 41-0. Also, we have a 21-6 Fort Dorchester win over Beaufort tonight. Porter Gaud over Burke 41-12. Somerville tops Carolina Forest 38-7. It was, as we mentioned a moment ago with the coach, Lucy Beckham. You know, when you hear that, you just want to say she. But it's a school, Lucy Beckham, an 8-6 winner over Wando. West Ashley edges May River 7-3, and Well Branch gets the win over North Charleston. Final score 19-8. Skeeza scores once again. Hammond 49-0 over Florence Christian. Ben Lippen 34-6 over Heathwood Hall. Bethesda Academy 40, John Paul II 24. King Academy 38, Wardlaw 16. Northside Christian 28, Greenwood Christian 12. It was Dorchester Academy falling. Nope. Dorchester Academy defeating Orangeburg Prep. Final score 22-20. Lee Academy 35, Thomas Sumter 7. Williamsburg Academy 47, Palmetto Christian 0, and Wilson Hall over Hilton Head Christian by a final score of 28-7. to 7. All right. Let's see if anything else new has popped up here before we hit the bottom of the hour break. Powdersville. Oh, yeah. What about this one? Powdersville beats Abbeville tonight, 51-44. And Blythewood over Ritza Northeast, 43-7. We'll be back.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
With SRN News, I'm Casey Stevens. President Biden isn't commenting on the redacted affidavit used to search former President Trump's Florida home. Biden says he'll leave the matter to the Justice Department. The Dow Jones Industrial Average falls more than 1,000 points on Friday, following remarks from the Federal Reserve Chair, who warned that reducing inflation will be painful. Investors took the comments to mean higher interest rates are on the way. The suspect in the Wisconsin Christmas parade attack will not have his case dismissed. Public defenders for Darrell Brooks tried to use an insanity plea, but the judge was having none of it. The judge also ruled prosecutors can use statements made by Brooks in 2 separate interrogations. Brooks had multiple racist social media posts about white people prior to the parade, where he drove his car through a group of white people. The Little League World Series champion will be determined this weekend in Pennsylvania. Get more details on these and other stories online at srnnews.com.
Hey, I've been talking about the people at Stone Interiors from the very beginning. They did the incredible granite counters, the beautiful granite tabletop in my home. Our kitchen is our focal point of our house. The local company with tremendous ethics, great workmanship, someone who sees a project through from start to finish. I'm describing Stone Interiors. So have you thought about some granite or marble countertops? What about a backsplash in your kitchen? You want to retile that bathroom? Did you know you can actually go online to stoneinteriors.com, go through their visualizer software, and design your whole kitchen, your whole bathroom project? It is so cool. If that's not for you and you want to visit their showroom, they'd love to have you come out and visit at Stone Interiors, or they can even come to you when it's convenient. For more than 20 years, Stone Interiors has done this thing the right way. Call them, 461-8950 to make an appointment, or visit them at stoneinteriors.com. That's 461-8950 or stoneinteriors.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Fran Halloran here. Now listen closely to what I'm about to say. I'm a business owner, and many of you listening right now, you're business owners as well. The first rule in owning a business is this: don't waste money. I see business owners waste their marketing dollars all the time. Not me. I figured out a long time ago, 8 years ago to be exact, that spending my marketing dollars at the point was not only intentional, but extremely profitable as well. If you're a small business owner, you owe it to yourself to sit down with Kevin Cohen and ask him to create a custom marketing plan for your business. He's looking for folks just like you who believe in local to partner with him in 2022 and beyond. Trust me when I tell you, partnering with The Point works. You will see results and your marketing budget will no longer be wasted. Give Kev a call at 803-563-8558 and tell him the Money Coach sent you.
There's hundreds of fun and simple things you and your family can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here's 20 of them. Walk to work, walk the dog, have the dog walk you, take a hike, take a bike, skate, dance, hop, jump, do the Humpty Hump, skip seconds, skip dessert, skip to my lube, don't skip breakfast, drink H2O, lower your sodium, raise the roof, shake your booty, stock up on vegetables, and don't forget to eat them. Search We Can online to find more ways you and your family can get healthy together. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's.
Scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union across the state of South Carolina. Hartsville, big winner tonight over Darlington, 68-0. Bamberg Earhart over Denmark Oler, 36-20. And we have the game with Carolina and West Oak postponed till 3 o'clock tomorrow. West Oak is down 22-0. 41 seconds left in the first half, and they're going to pick it up tomorrow. Again, it's pretty heavy weather moving through the upstate. Dorman has beaten North Augusta 42-28. Patrick Henry over St. John's Christian 6-0. Battery Creek defeats Ridgeland Hardyville 39-28. Lower Richland over Westwood 35-8. And again, Powdersville defeats Abbeville in Abbeville. Boy, that doesn't happen often. 51-44. Blythewood over Richland Northeast, 43-7. Before we continue, I want to give a quick shout out to a longtime friend of ours here on the Scoreboard, a man who used to call us every Friday night after he did his broadcast with the Sherrod Braves. George Adams, retired now as the play-by-play announcer for the Braves. And one thing about high school football in South Carolina that we all love are the play-by-play crews, because they are some dedicated folks. I mean, they're not working from the plushest of circumstances many times. Yeah. Top of the press box, out in the stands, working off their cell phone, whatever the case may be. They do what's necessary to get the job done. And George has retired after 21 years, 272 games, 55 playoff games, and 4 state championship games with 2 championships. We congratulate you, sir, George Adams, for a great broadcasting career with the Sherrod Braves, and we thank you for all the reports you gave us here on the Scoreboard. You gave us a nice break whenever you would call in, because we knew it was going to be, a few minutes before you were done. So that was good for all of us, and we appreciate you very much. Speaking of a broadcaster, high school style and college style, not quite the age of George yet, hasn't been around quite that long. Chris Bergen on the call tonight from Socastee and Silver Bluff over at Socastee. I had the pleasure of listening to some of that, Chris. You did a fine job, especially that halftime college football preview. That was well done.
Well, I appreciate that. I've got some good help on that preview show, so thank you, Phil. And I want to echo my sentiments to George as well. Anytime you're in this business, as you well know, for that length of time in a small town, you do wonders. And I can give you 3 different places I have done hard flush, including last year at Dutch Fork. We were crammed underneath the ladder going upstairs to broadcast. I've done a game from the Ware Shoals field house in the end zone. And probably my favorite was Clinton Daniel Upper State Finals back in 09, I think. We did it from the stands at Daniel on a 15-degree night, and Clinton wins it at the end. It was not a lot of fun getting out of there after Clinton beat Daniel.
That sounds like a load of fun, being surrounded by the enemy fans there, for sure. I mean, did you feel somewhat nervous about being too excited for the team you were calling?
Absolutely, especially when Clinton sealed the game with an interception at the end. So, yeah, that was tough. And but speaking of Clinton, did I hear they hammered Lawrence tonight?
They did.
That's 2 straight games in which the Red Devils scored over 50 points. The boys got to roll it up in the upstate.
They do. Look, that's Corey Fountain, and fantastic coach. He did a great job at Lamar, and since he's taken over at Clinton, it's been nothing but up, up, up. And, I mean, it's going to be hard not to think of them as a strong contender for state championship honors this year.
I would agree. They're playing some very good football, and they always run it well. So you know what you're getting from Clinton. Speaking of teams playing some pretty good football, the Socastee Braves, for the first time since 2017, are 2-0 on the season as they defeated Silver Bluff tonight 21-0. I know a lot of fans get criticized for leaving the game at halftime. Actually, that would have been okay tonight because all the scoring occurred in the first half. 3 long touchdown passes by Rocco Wojcik in the first, 15 minutes of the game. And after that, the two defenses settled in. The only negative for Socastee is Wojcik, after those 3 touchdown passes in the third quarter, left the game with an injury. And we found out from the assistant coaches as they were leaving the press box after the game, it appears to be a broken collarbone. And he may be out, obviously, several weeks. So that's a huge loss for Socastee because Wojcik over the last 2 weeks has played some really, really good football for them.
You know, that is, I was listening when he got hurt, and the play you were describing was a scramble, and he had to stop and throw the ball away, and he got hit hard by, I guess, a defender who came down on him, and he stayed down on his face there for a while. That's kind of how you described it.
Jordan Boyd is the defender for Silver Bluff, and they didn't have a whole lot going their way tonight, but that young man is somebody for the folks over in Aiken. If you don't know how good a player he is right now, and you probably do, but if you don't, he's worth the price of admission. He's an absolute terror on the defensive line for them. He actually knocked Wojcik out twice in the ballgame. He got a sack on a touchdown, or a hard hit, rather, on the third touchdown pass of the night, and Wojcik had to leave the game then prior to the extra point, and then, unfortunately, knocked him out in the third quarter. Nothing malicious, just a good, hard football play, and unfortunately, where Rocco is hurt and could be out for a long time.
Boy, that's such a shame because, Socastee was playing good football, and they got a tough schedule coming up. You lose your quarterback who's playing well. Obviously that hurts. That leaves them with a big hole at quarterback. Where do they go?
Well, they've got a transfer in that finished the game, Kadir Scott, who caught one of the 3 touchdown passes, ironically, from Wojcik, the first one of the game, 64 yards to start the scoring for Socastee. He'll be the starting quarterback, I would think, moving forward. But where Wojcik's sort of leadership and toughness, how that play out with the team, he's also the starting punter for them. So he's not just one guy. They lose 2. Now, Alan Hilligus, who's the place kicker for Socastee, did a nice job punting in Wojcik's absence, and I would imagine he'll be the punter moving forward. But you're right. With West Florence, Myrtle Beach, and Dillon on the horizon before region play begins, not the time to lose your starting quarterback for sure.
Boy, no question. Enjoyed listening to you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday on Sports Talk.
All right, Phil. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Chris Bergen, co-host of Sports Talk, play-by-play announcer for Socastee High School, sideline announcer for Coastal Carolina football, play-by-play announcer for Coastal Carolina basketball. There is nothing he will not do. Let's go to David Shelton now joining us after finishing up his duties. Fort Dorchester beats Beaufort. Welcome in, David. Great to have you with us. Let's talk about your game. That's a great way for Fort D to open up the season because Beaufort's been a good football team, and that was I was watching on television, and Fort D got the early lead and gave up the score in the third quarter, but then answered right again, and then pretty much held on from there.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean game. Both teams made a lot of mistakes. Fort fumbled the ball on the 3-yard line going in. That would have really put them up 21-0, and then they missed the field goal later. They missed on 4th down from about the 15. Beaufort had about 15 penalties. I think they had 7. I quit counting at 7. It might have been closer to 10, but offsides penalties, just jumping the snap. And so a lot of typical first game. I don't think either coach. Well, I know I talked to both of them, and they weren't real happy. But it is game 1 for both of them. Neither of them got to play last week, so I think you're going to see both teams going to end up being pretty good. Beaufort down in 3A now. They're going to be still the team to beat in that region. Them and Hanahan. And Fort, they go to Grayson. They go play Grayson, Georgia next week. And then the week after that, they play some Clearwater Christian that's supposed to be really good. So, you know, they got, and then they go to Gaffney. So they got some tough games ahead. But you know, LaPrade was not happy that they won. I mean, he was happy that they won, but not real happy with the way they played. But you got to know Steve LaPrade. That's kind of what he's going to say.
Yeah.
You know, Osborne was really good. Had 2 beautiful passes. I mean, the guy he's got great touch on the long ball. So, you know, they did what they had to do to win. They rushed for about 160 yards, and you know, it was not a great game. It wasn't clean, but it was fun to watch. I was just glad we got to play.
Yeah, really. I was going to ask you about the quarterback. I don't know much about him, but I did see that long pass he threw that led to their last touchdown, lofted it up there. Receiver ran under it by the pylon, made the catch, and that was a really good throw. Is that his forte, just dropping back and throwing the deep ball?
Well, he can throw the deep ball. Now, his first touchdown pass was about 30 yards, and he dropped it in the end zone right over the shoulder of the receiver. I mean, it was a beautiful throw. I mean, I kidded with LaPrade after the game. I said, y'all need to send that to college. It's just that one play. Because it was a great throw. But he can throw underneath, but he's really has great touch on the deep ball. I mean, it's something that he's kind of mastered. He doesn't ever underthrow the ball. He always leads the receiver and lets him go make a play. And, you know, he's been back there 4 years. I mean, the guy has thrown a bunch of passes for Fort Dorchester over the last 4 years. So, you know, I guess he's expected to do that.
Yeah. One thing I did notice, too, hard not to notice, I wonder if this was the case around the state with a lot of games with the humidity and the warm temperatures cramping up, especially in that third quarter. They were dropping like flies out there, and it looked painful to watch those poor guys writhing in pain on the ground.
Let me tell you something. When I walk out on the field to interview the 2 coaches, and, you know, you got to walk by the teams and the players, I bet I saw 20 guys with ice packs on their caps. You know, it was a very humid night, and that long drive that, if you said you saw, Buford went 17 plays, ate up almost the entire third quarter. And at the end of that drive, I mean, it took 3 plays to get it in the end zone, but it took about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because every play somebody was down on both teams.
Yeah.
Not just one guy. I mean, there were 2 guys at a time. It was brutal, but you know, again, I'm not a big fan of playing games this early, but hey, whatever. Let them play.
Have you heard if that's been a case around the state tonight with teams dealing with the cramps?
I have not seen anything on Twitter or anything, but I can't imagine anywhere down here in Charleston. It was very humid. I mean, it was 85 at kickoff with a humidity up into 80%. I mean, I really thought wet ball was going to come into play, but I guess they were the threshold. But you know, and you know, it got cooler as the game went on, but they've already been out there for for an hour and a half. So it's kind of the wear and tear. You don't cramp up in the first quarter. It's later when you start cramping up. And I mean, I'm sure I can't imagine any game being played in the Charleston area that didn't have some sort of, some cramping up. I mean, you've been drinking a lot of water if you didn't cramp up tonight.
Absolutely. All right, hang on, David.
I cramped up in the press box, and I ain't even playing.
I was cramping up just watching them cramp up. Edisto beat Williston Elko 12-6. PD Academy 48. Cardinal Newman 42. 96-53. Ware Shoals nothing. And we also have as finals Fairfield Central 41. Andrew Jackson 21. And Pack 60. Harvest Christian Academy 16. It was Irmo over Lancaster 27-20. Wilson beat Marion 55-36. As I mentioned, Hartsville over Darlington 68-0. Bamberg Earhart 36. Denmark Olar 20. And Dorman has beaten North Augusta 42-28. A lot of games in the upstate delayed by the weather. The Greenville and TL Hanna game being played over at Serene Stadium. Just got a text on that. Let me pass it along. Our man Kevin Selman said they're at the half, and Hanna leading Greenville at the half, 22-16. So still a good ball game there. But here it is about 10:45, and they're just getting to halftime more or less there. up in Greenville. Some of those games are going to be running really, really late tonight. Okay, we go to a break here on the high school football scoreboard. We'll get ourselves reorganized and get more scores in for you. More from David Shelton, breaking down some of the top games tonight. I'm sure David has something to say about that win by Powdersville at Abbeville and the win, the defeat of Oceanside Collegiate tonight in a heck of a ball game. We'll talk about that with David and bring up other scores as well when we come back. We're with Major Billy Downer of DNR. Of course, South Carolina is great for the hunters, Major. What do the hunters need to remember before they get out in the fields?
It seems like every other show we're talking about hunting safety of some sort. One thing we want hunters in this state to remember is always identify your target and what lies beyond it. Make sure before you pull that trigger that you know what you're looking at. Whether it's a turkey during turkey season or a deer during deer season, you know your identifying features of your game. You know what's beyond that target in case you miss.
Learn more about the great outdoors in South Carolina with Major Billy Downer on SC Wild here on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Show your team pride wherever you go with Founders Federal Credit Union's collegiate debit cards. Get your University of South Carolina and Clemson University debit cards at any Founders office or by calling 1-800-845-1614. Plus, our debit cards are digital wallet ready, so you can pay however you please. Not a member? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Good to have you with us here on the high school football scoreboard. We have Pat Daniel back at our studios in Columbia working with the one and only J.P. Barry. Tonight, J.P., former center for the Spartanburg High School Vikings, now our quarterback back at the studios. Hey, J.P., you've gone from center to quarterback. Congratulations. Glad we could promote you to the position. It's good to have J.P. working with us on Friday nights. Let's go to Lee Glaze, Sumter and Ridgeview tonight. Good to have Lee with us working some high school football. He had retired from that job, but he was called in to serve us tonight, and he stepped up like a champ and helping out the old broadcast crew. And you had a good ball game tonight as well. Tell us how the Gamecocks pulled it out.
Well, Phil, it was a battle of a bunch of athletes on the field. As you know, Ridgeview is extremely athletic. Sumter High is also, and it really turned into a defensive battle. Both teams with right around 200 yards in total offense. Ridgeview took the lead basically in a field position battle in the third quarter, 14-7, and Sumter trailed 14-7 all the way up to about 5-6 minutes to go in the game. Sumter put together a drive. It was aided by a huge personal foul penalty against Ridgeview on the opposing sideline. They gave them a first down. They end up converting a 4th down and 10 at the Ridgeview 16-yard line with about 2 minutes to play on a basically a reverse play. Picked up 11, ended up shoving it in. Everybody in the whole stadium thinks they're going to kick the extra point to go for 2. And Mark Barnes runs his offense out on the field like he's going to go for 2, which forces Ridgeview to burn their final timeout. They get put the offense back on the field. Well, then we have a right tackle to jump. So they back him up 5, and he brings the kicking team out, and the kid knocks it through for the extra point, but they rough the kicker. and so it puts it back at the 4, and Mark says, "We're going for it." So he ends up throwing basically a throwback screen to a tight end, rolling out right, throwing back left. There was nobody within 15 yards of him, and Sumter High got out of there with a 15-14 win with two very, very athletic teams.
Boy, it sounds like it. And what a gutsy call at that time to go for two and go for the W and not carry this thing into extras.
I think it surprised everybody, especially to take the point off the board, because he could have declined the penalty and gone to overtime with no problem. But he decided to go for it and had that play in his back pocket and worked to a charm. Nobody within, like I said, about 10 or 15 yards of him. So my lone cameo appearance back in the booth this year turned out to be a good one.
Yes, it did. You brought him some good luck. But let me ask you this. I mean, Sumter known for great defense, lost some good players off last year's team. Montague Rames transferred to Manning's. That's another good defensive player gone. And what do they have on defense as far as the personnel goes that's going to make them a good defensive team again this year?
Well, I don't know if you've seen Ridgeview play, but those guys have got some athletes. They've got quite a few commits to a lot of colleges. Those guys are really, really fast. And, of course, Sumter's pretty fast, too. And they were able to basically shut down their running game for the most part. I think Ridgeview had about 75, 80 yards rushing all night long. And then the dink and dunk pass. When they finally forced the quarterback to throw it downfield, they were able to pick it off a couple times. And that and the fact that Ridgeview was a little bit penalty prone in the second half probably cost them the ball game.
While we got you, let's give a shout out to your former play-by-play cohort who also retired after last season, and that is Kevin Ireland, of course. You guys did Sumter High football together how many years?
Oh, gosh, Kevin's done it for about 30, and I did it for 17 or 18, something like that.
Wow.
We just decided if you're going to go out, you go out together. And you know, what happened is the new fella, Bruce McNeil, got sick. And in today's COVID world, you know, everybody's so hypersensitive about that. They didn't want to take any chances. And they called me, I think it was at like 5:30 yesterday afternoon, and asked me if I could fill in. And I said, sure. I haven't done a single bit of prep work, but no problem. Let's go do it.
Just rely on your natural skills, sort of like your golf swing. Just rely on the natural ability.
That's right. Can't birdie them all if you don't birdie the first one.
That's right. I wouldn't know what a birdie is. Lee, as always, my friend, good talking to you. Best to Kevin and everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Phil. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks for the report. Woodruff has beaten Fountain Inn tonight, 31-0. David, how about that win for Sumter going into a very tough place and kind of gutting out a 1-point win?
That game was not a beauty thing to watch, but a good win. You know, Ridgeview's a good team, and Sumter's got Goose Creek coming up next week. So, you know, they got a tough schedule, and I love it when these teams that we think are good play a lot of really good teams. It makes it a lot better, a lot more fun to look forward to.
What did you think about Abbeville tonight? Abbeville playing at home. That's a place that they protect the home turf extremely well, of course. They've done that for decades. And Powdersville, you know, comes down to Abbeville. 7-point win for Powdersville, 51-44. You made the comment on Sports Talk. You go in and play them close or you beat Abbeville. That will tell you something about Powdersville. What does it tell you?
Well, they're good. I mean, they were 12-1 last year. You got to remember they didn't lose till they lost in the playoff. And they've got a really good running back that's committed to Virginia Tech. They've got a linebacker that's being recruited. Their quarterback is really solid. They got a lot of experience. So, you know, them beating Abbeville is a feather in their cap. I'm not shocked. I think I said on Sports Talk I thought there were going to be a lot of points scored. And, you know, it kind of come down to, you know, who had the ball last and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's a tough loss for Abbeville, but certainly no disgrace. I mean, those two teams are going to be playing deep in November. I can promise you that.
Yeah. We just got an update on Spartanburg. You know, games in the upstate, several of them, David, are running late because of the weather. They're playing at Spartanburg, Dutch Fork, and Spartan High, and the Silver Foxes are only up 18-13 at halftime. So, obviously, Spartanburg has bounced back from that loss last week in Georgia and giving a spirited effort tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, as I said on Sports Talk, it's never as bad as it looks, and it's never as good as it looks. So, You just you gotta know that Spartanburg had a great week of practice, and they knew they were playing Dutch Fork. They knew that if they did not show up to play, they would get embarrassed, and they still may in the second half. But I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that they bounced back and made this game close at halftime.
Okay, my man, hang on. We'll come back to you. Hour number 2. That's an hour in the books tonight here on the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Another hour to come. More scores to come your way. Be right back.
Experience 107 The Point.
Make thepointradio.com.
The Point. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Tasha Stevens. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says inflation remains painfully high. Cooling it will require forceful action that could soon bring pain to households and businesses nationwide. Powell says the central bank will keep moving aggressively to tame inflation.
We must keep at it until the job is done. History shows that the employment costs of bringing down inflation are likely to increase with delay as high inflation becomes more entrenched in wage and price setting.
But he says fighting inflation will come with a cost.
While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses. These are the unfortunate costs of reducing inflation. But a failure to restore price stability would mean far greater pain.
Wall Street did not like what it heard from Powell, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down over 1,000 points today. The S&P 500 lost 3.4% today. Also, at srnnews.com, a heavily redacted FBI affidavit used to search former President Trump's property is made public.
The affidavit does not provide new details about the 11 sets of classified records recovered during the August search at Mar-a-Lago, but instead concerns a separate batch of 15 boxes that the National Archives retrieved from the home back in January. In those boxes, according to the affidavit, officials located 184 documents bearing classification markings, including 25 documents marked as top secret.
That's White House correspondent Greg Cluxton. The former president called it a total public relations subterfuge by the FBI and the Department of Justice. The suspect in the Wisconsin Christmas parade attack will not have his case dismissed. Public defenders for Darrell Brooks tried to use an insanity plea, but the judge was having none of it. The judge also ruled prosecutors can use statements made by Brooks in 2 separate incidents. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Is Prager here to share a product that can help keep everyone more healthy? Cofix RX. Most of us know that viruses of all types are a part of life. What we don't always know are the right products that could be protecting us. So I'd like to tell you about Cofix RX and its doctor-approved secret ingredient. As a safety measure, many doctors and nurses have been using iodine to swab their noses for decades. Iodine has been in use since 1811, and 96% of us are iodine deficient. Using Cofix RX antiviral nasal spray with povidone iodine is a smart way to stay healthy. Cofix RX is made right here in the USA. It's simple to use. You spray it up your nose, and the iodine destroys germs and pathogens where they multiply in the nasal cavity. Check out CofixRx.com. That's COFIXRX.com for a retailer near you, or use the coupon code Prager for 20% off at CofixRx.com.
Some 150 artworks from the collection of Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen will be auctioned at Christie's in New York this fall.
Christie says the works, expected to fetch a total of more than $1 billion, span 500 years of art history, from old masters to the giants of modern art. All the proceeds will go to philanthropy. Allen co-founded Microsoft with his childhood friend Bill Gates. He died from complications of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2018. In his lifetime, he gave more than $2 billion to a wide range of charitable endeavors. Rich Thomason reporting.
To Democrats championing the White House's student loan forgiveness plan, it was the long-awaited delivery of one of President Biden's campaign promises. To Republicans, and even some in the president's own party, it was an ill-advised move that was unfair to those who had paid back their loans or decided not to go to college because they didn't have the money. News and analysis at townhall.com.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Hi, this is Jennifer Coolidge. The American Heart Association says the disco song Stayin' Alive is the near-perfect beat for hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Stayin' Alive. Disco is back and it's saving lives. To learn more, go to heart.org/hands-only-CPR.
Nationally supported by the WellPoint Foundation.
Ooh, you shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh. Now you get this.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's High School Football Scoreboard here on this Friday night across the state, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union, Phil Kornblut and David Shelton together again. Also, we have Pat Daniel back at our studios in Columbia, along with J.P. Barry. More reports coming up from folks as soon as they check in with us. And let's take you around the state and give you the final scores that we have in, and then David can jump in and talk about some more of these results tonight. In the upstate, it's kind of thin as far as final scores go at this point. They're coming in gradually. Games, many of them held up in the upstate because of the weather. Powdersville beats Abbeville tonight in a thriller up at Abbeville, 51-44. Clinton takes it to Lawrence, 55-28. Crescent, 34. Dixie, 10. Woodruff, 31. Fountain Inn, nothing. Sandy Creek, Georgia, 46. Greenwood, 21. Indianland, 28. Timberland, nothing. Irmo, 27. Lancaster, 20. Louisville, 50. Wagner, Sally, 24. Lincoln County, Georgia, 27. McCormick, 6. And Seneca, 50. Palmetto, 14. At halftime, Dutch Fork was leading Spartanburg 18-13. 96-53. Ware Shoals, nothing. And Belton Honeypath beat Westside 19-17. In the Midlands tonight, Fairfield Central, 41. Andrew Jackson, 21. Appling County, Georgia, 42. Aiken, 7. It was Bamberg Earhart with a 36-20 win over Denmark-Oler. Gilbert, 49. Batesburg Leesville, 14. Blythewood, 43. Richland Northeast, 7. Brooklyn Casey, 31. Airport, 20. Buford, 35. McBee, 8. Lake Marion, 28. Calhoun County, 22. Crestwood, 37. Gray Collegiate, 28. Defending state champions are 0-2. Hunter Connor Tyler, 22. Eau Claire, 12. Lakewood, 30. Fox Creek, nothing. Camden, 53. Lugoff Elgin, 7. Chapin, 45. Mid Carolina, nothing. Dorman, 42. North Augusta, 28. Hannah Pamplico, 26. North Central, 20. Orangeburg Wilkinson, 20. Keenan, 8. Pillion, 15. Columbia, 12. It was Saluda, 34. Rich Spring Monetta, 7. In a thriller that came down to the very end, Sumter beat Ridgeview 15-14. A 2-point conversion at the very end wins it for the Gamecocks. River Bluff, 52. Swansea, nothing. In a shootout, Lexington, 63. South Aiken, 56. Midland Valley, 29. Strom Thurmond, 23. Lower Richland, 35. Westwood, 8. White Knoll beats Spring Valley 36-9. And Edisto doubles up Williston Elko. Final score there, 12-6. PD Grand Strand scores. Andrews, 32. Georgetown, 12. Waccamaw, 33. Carvers Bay, 18. Dillon, 41. Lamar, nothing. Latta, 31. East Clarendon, nothing. Vikings, 2-0. More from David on that coming up as he breaks that game down for us intensely. Hartsville, 68. Darlington, nothing. West Florence, 32. Lake City, 7. Lee Central, 28. Great Falls, 8. Wilson, 55. Marion, 36. Marlboro County, 40. Cheraw, 12. It was Loris over North Myrtle Beach, 15-7. Manning, 32, Scotts Branch, 14. Socastee, 21, Silver Bluff, nothing. Great win for the Braves, but they lose their quarterback to a shoulder injury. Might be a broken shoulder, separated shoulder. Lose him for an extended amount of time. In a thriller, South Florence edges Oceanside Collegiate 29-28. Another thriller, double overtime, St. James 37, Philip Simmons 30. Low Country, Cane Bay over Ashley Ridge 30-20. Cross 44, Hemingway nothing. Fort Dorchester 21, Buford 6. Hanahan 22, Berkeley 17. Porter-Gaud 41, Burke 12. Battery Creek 39, Ridgeland Hardyville 28. James Island 52, Stall nothing. Somerville 38, Carolina Forest 7. Lucy Beckham 8, Wando 6. West Ashley 7, May River 3. Well Branch 19, North Charleston 8. And in Skeeza action tonight, Cardinal Newman 48, PD Academy 42. The Kings Academy 38, Conway Christian 16. Hammond 49, Florence Christian nothing. Pack 60, Harvest Christian Academy 16. Ben Lippen 34, Heathwood Hall 6. Holly Hill Academy 71, Holy Trinity 12. Bethesda Academy 40, John Paul II 24. King Academy 38, Wardlaw 16. Lawrence Manning 22, Pinewood Prep 20, Northside Christian 28, Greenwood Christian 12. It was a win for Colleton Prep over Northwood Academy, 42 to something. I wiped out the Northwood score, but Colleton Prep won it 42 to something. Got to find that other score. Dorchester Academy 22, Orangeburg Prep 20. Patrick Henry beat St. John's Christian 6-0. Lee Academy 35, Thomas Sumter 7. Williamsburg Academy 47, Palmetto Christian nothing. And it was Wilson Hall over Hilton Head Christian, final score of 28-7. We're up to date for now. Let's go to Chris Daring. Chris Daring on hand for the Spring Valley White Knoll game tonight, Chris. Here in the Midlands of South Carolina, a big performance by White Knoll. Took down Spring Valley pretty one-handedly tonight, at least it appears so by the score.
Yeah, I kept getting a lot of text messages during the game. I don't know if I was reporting the score right on Twitter. A lot of people didn't think this was going to happen tonight. Spring Valley's in the top 10 in the state, and it was really all White Knoll. And really and truly, Phil, it was a game of field position, believe it or not. Spring Valley kept starting a lot of their drives inside their 10-yard line, and they couldn't get anything going. And White Knoll took advantage of the short fields and got a safety one time, even when White Knoll started, or when Spring Valley started inside the 10. So just all around solid performance by White Knoll tonight.
Yeah, it must have been. I'm sure the folks on the Spring Valley side, Coach Bacon and company, had to be really disappointed with their overall performance tonight.
Yeah, DQ Smith, who's at South Carolina now playing defensive back, was a quarterback last year and has been, I think, for the last 3 years. And they still have to figure out the quarterback position, I think, going into the rest of their season. They're sort of one-dimensional tonight, and that allowed White Knoll on defense sort of to pin their ears back and try to stuff the run. They did a really good job of that, and Spring Valley just couldn't throw it down the field. And I do want to point out Landon Sharp, the quarterback for White Knoll. He threw 4 touchdown passes, right at 200 yards. Just a sophomore. He's getting better and better. I thought he played, he really commanded the offense tonight. Did a good job with his reads, had a good pocket to sit in. So great night for that kid. And, Nick Pelham's only his second year here. He came over from Tom Knott's staff at Dutch Fork. And he's got these kids believing a little bit. And I think, this was a big win for this program.
Chris, we thank you so much for the report. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll look for you next week.
I'm on vacation next week, Phil. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you very much. I lost Chris there at the end because it was breaking up on me, but we appreciate him joining us tonight here on the High School Football Scoreboard with that report. Let's go back to David Shelton now. And, David, I wanted to ask you, about the Oceanside game tonight, and we talked about that game, Oceanside and South Florence, on Sports Talk, and it turned out to be a dandy, 29-28. The Bruins pulled this one out. They're 2-0. Oceanside drops to 1-1. Heck of a ball game. What'd you take away from that?
Well, I was following that game on Twitter, and it was going back and forth. And you know what's great about these games is when these teams play and they have really good players, and those players shine and perform well in the big game, it makes it so much more fun to cover. And you saw that tonight with Lenore Stellers, the quarterback at South Florence, had a really nice game from what I could gather. And then the running back at Oceanside, who's committed to Charlotte, Vaughn Blue, he had a big run there late to give him a chance to win. And but it's a game like I thought they would have. Having seen South Florence last week, watched the game of Oceanside and Gray on YouTube, I thought it would be a close game. I mean, I thought it was going to, both defenses were going to have a lot of trouble with those offenses, and that's what it turned out. But a great game and a lot of fun for those fans. And, again, don't put a whole lot of stock in it. I mean, I think Oceanside is still the team to beat in 2A, and South Florence is going to be a serious contender in 4A. I really believe that.
All right, another big game tonight that we had talked about on Sports Talk, and we thought could be a really good battle, and turned out to be the case, was we talked about Powdersville and Abbeville, of course, and we just talked about the Oceanside game. Let's see, what was another one that I wanted to bring up to you here? Let's see. Oh, yeah. We talked about TL Hanna and Greenville. That one's still going on. And it sounds like, that's going to be a close one in the second half as well. It was about a one touchdown spread, I think, at halftime. Hanna leading Greenville. So about what you expected from what you said on Sports Talk.
Yeah. I thought Greenville would have to improve defensively against the run. They got really shredded last week. Hannah's obviously done enough tonight to get the lead, but it looks like Greenville's playing better. But we'll see how that game ends up. That could still go anyway.
What'd you make of the Somerville win tonight for Carolina Forest? Typically a good ball club. Somerville gets the win at home tonight, pretty handedly, 38-7. Is that just a dominating win? Maybe Carolina Forest to tick off so far this year. What'd you take from that?
Well, I think Carolina Forest is a tick off, but this Somerville team's got some players. That running back, Marquez Spells, the receiver, Yannick Smith, and their quarterback is back, McCurry. They're big up front. They can run the football. I don't know the details of the game, but it sounds like they were pretty dominant. I think at one point it was 21-0. So, yeah, I think this Somerville team's got a chance to compete with the Fort Dorchesters of the world. They'll play their big rival Berkeley next week. I think they'll probably be favored to win that, but it's a solid win. I mean, beating Carolina Forest by 31 is not. I don't think anybody expected that. I'm not shocked they won, but I thought it would be a lot closer.
Yeah. All right. Just seeing some reports here, David. Rock Hill and South Point postponed until tomorrow, 10 o'clock, due to inclement weather. And seeing that Gaffney at Union County has been canceled, that will not be made up. So the weather again playing havoc with some of the games on the schedule. Lakeview has beaten Mullins 34-14. Clarendon Hall over Andrew Jackson 43-16. We also have Baptist Hill over St. John's 26-8. PD Academy beats Cardinal Newman 48-42. Academic Magnet over Military Magnet 14-0. Always look forward to that, to the battle of the Magnets. Academic gets the better of Military 14-0. And David, I got to get your thoughts on Latta's 2-0 start. I think it's the first time since 1937. I just made that up. It's been a while, I think, since Latta was 2-0, but they have wins over Mullins and East Clarendon. And I think they were both on the road. I think they played at Mullins last week. What do you think of those Vikings?
Well, Latta, let me tell you something. Latta has a quarterback named Phil Kornblut who throws to a receiver named Phil Kornblut. and their defensive end named Phil Kornblut is a stud.
Yeah.
So the Fighting Kornbluts are going to be a contender.
I love it. But seriously, though, they do have an athlete at quarterback. I've seen some highlights. I think they've got a good little quarterback.
Well, Lada's had a couple of lean years, but they've been okay in the past. I mean, these are 2 wins that I thought they should get. I thought they were better than Mullins, and I thought they were better than East Clarendon. But every win right now is a confidence builder, and I think you'll see Lada, win more than they lose this year. They dropped. I'm pretty sure, didn't they drop down to 1A?
No, they're still 2A.
Oh, they're still 2A.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the region with Andrews and Marion.
Yes.
That'll be a very competitive region. Marion, I think, has probably got the edge, even though I think they lost tonight. But that'll be a very competitive region.
Well, Lada has outscored their first 2 opponents 66-0. Okay. Let me see Gaffney do that. Let me see Dutch Fork do that. Okay, 66-0.
That defensive coordinator, Phil Kornblut. I mean,
not to mention that.
I got their roster on the email, and it's just like from number 1 to number 71 is Phil Kornblut.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we go to a break here on the high school football scoreboard. We'll come back with more scores, less frivolity. How about that? I don't know that being a comedian is really up David's in his future, but he does have some serious things to talk about. We'll let him do that coming up in a little bit as well. More scores coming your way, and we hope to hear from more reporters from games tonight around the state of South Carolina. Stay with us here on the High School Football Scoreboard, Sports Talk Media Network.
Founders Federal Credit Union knows your life is busy and your money is important. We are proud to offer local personalized services and convenient online services like Founders Online and the Founders app. You'll love being with us as much as we love serving you. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Relax, win with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
If you're looking to stay hydrated this summer, turn toward a southern favorite, sweet South Carolina watermelons. One slice is equivalent to a glass of water and is just as effective as sports drinks for hydration. If you don't believe us, you can ask the Palmetto State's top football teams. The SC Watermelon Association will be serving up slices after summer practice to keep our teams fueled and hydrated. Visit scwatermelon.org for all the details and look for ripe South Carolina watermelons in your hometown.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
All right, back we are on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. They are going to the fourth quarter. Up in the upstate, Malden Boiling Springs, Mavericks are up 14-0. Here it is, 11:22, and they are just through 3, heading to the fourth. That's what the weather has done up there with the delays and things like that. Wade Hampton of Hampton, however, no delay here. They beat Allendale Fairfax 48-0 tonight. And let's see, I don't think anything else new has come in. Clarendon Hall over Andrew Jackson Academy, 43-16. Lakeview beat Mullins 34-14. Baptist Hill over St. John's, 26-8. And I think we're up to date. Talked about the Magnet game. So I think we're up to date. David Shelton along the way with us, talking about various games tonight and things that stood out to him as we break down what has happened tonight across the state of South Carolina. David, let's continue talking about some of these results tonight. Some of the
Hold on.
that
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
What?
we move on, I just got a text message that says Latta is in the same Class A region with Lakeview, so they did drop down to Class A.
Oh, I could have sworn they stayed in 2A.
Well, I'm telling you, the next time the bib speaks, just let the bib speak. Okay?
All right, I'm gonna check that out here myself while we're still talking here, because I thought for sure they were still
Well,
in double
I
A.
got the text from the hot call Billy Baker himself. Says Latta is Class A, same region with Lakeview, which I thought that they were. I thought they dropped down to that region, but when you said they were still in 2A, I was like, okay, well.
Well, I mean, look, it won't. Okay, look, I've got the region breakdowns right here, and let's see. Yeah, you're right. They are 1A, Region 1A. I'm sorry, Region 6, 1A. Correction. So it's Latta, Lamar, Lakeview, Hannah-Pamplico, and Green Sea Floyd's.
That's a really good region.
I mean, a good region for Latta to win, or just a really competitive region?
Well, it's going to be a very competitive region. I think Lakeview is going to be pretty good as they go on, and Lakeview is. Latta is obviously very good.
Lamar.
Who's the other team?
Lamar.
Green
Sea Floyd's, Hannah-Pamplico.
Yeah, that's going to be a very competitive region.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a message here that says Ian Guerin has been on hold for 11 minutes.
He has? Well, let's go to him. Nobody has notified me of that. Let me go back here and look at my notes unless I skip past it. And I apologize, Ian, if that was the case.
No one has answered. He said he's been on hold, but no one has answered. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Well, we're going through a little training session back in the studios with Pat and JP. So, guys, if Ian is on hold, and Pat, as I can tell looking at the stream, Ian is smarter than that. He's smarter than y'all. Okay. Don't tell him not to mute his phone. He knows better. But anyway, so you're telling me he's not there?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me right now, Pat? He's not there? If he's not there, we'll move on through this very fine segment of the show where I have been corrected and we can't get Ian Guerin on to talk about his game. So, what else has caught your attention tonight, David? What else has stood out to you so far as the finals are concerned?
Well, I think we hit on all the key games. I think the Berkeley Hanahan game was a lot more competitive than I thought. I think Berkeley is making some inroads there. Cane Bay beat Ashley Ridge, and that's the sixth consecutive win that they beat them. So that's a good win for them. And then when you go to the Midlands, Saluda looks like they're going to be really good. It looks like Saluda may be one of those teams in the 2A ranks that makes a challenge like they did.
Yeah, hello? Did we lose David?
No, I'm here.
Oh, I heard you got repeat what you were saying about Saluda. You got cut there when you're talking about Saluda a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think, a couple of years ago they went to Abbeville and beat them, and they ended up winning the state title. I think this Saluda team this year is in that mode. I think they're going to be very capable. Oh, and another game that I heard you talking about when I first got on was Clinton.
Yeah.
Clinton beating Lawrence. That's a big win for them. That's a big rivalry, long-time rivalry. And Clinton has been really good the last 2 weeks, or the first 2 weeks of the season. So I think they're going to make another run. I think Clinton's for real.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Corey Fountain and the job he's done there from when he came from Lamar, and what a wise hire that's turned out to be for Clinton, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you talk about hitting a home run. I mean, he was at Lamar and winning and doing great, but he's at Lamar and people don't pay attention to Class A. So I think a lot of people kind of raise their eyebrows when they hired a guy from a Class A school, but the guy is a hell of a football coach, and they can run power. They will play physical. They're going to punch you in the mouth and make you fight back. And it sounds like they really ran it up on Lawrence tonight.
Yeah, and Lawrence is not a bad team.
No. I mean, especially when you talk about the rivalry between these two teams. You're going to get the best of both teams. But I mean, Clinton is for real.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Monty will check in with us. Monty Dutton will give us a call and give us the real story there on that game.
Let me give you. Ian says, "No one is greeting me. I'm getting patched in, and I hear you and Corn talking, but no one's saying, 'Hey, Ian, how you doing?'" So when he calls, and I know Ian does not want to hear me and you talk. He wants to get on there and do his thing. So y'all figure this thing out, because he's gonna give me all kind of hell later on.
Ian wants to hear Ian talk. Okay, Pickens beats Franklin County, Georgia, 42-17 tonight. There's another final score for you, and we'll be back after the break. Okay, guys, figure out what's going on.
To know the world from A to Z. Discover science and technology. Where is the dinosaur? What's on the ocean floor? To know the world from A to Z. Astronomy, biology, chemistry, zoology, science and technology. It's fun, you'll see. Why is the sun so warm? What makes a winter storm? And what's a quadruped? Why is the planet Mars red? You'll find there's lots to know. Exploring as you go. To know the world from A to Z. Discover science and technology. Astronomy, biology, chemistry, zoology, science and technology. It's fun, you'll see.
A public service message from the National Science Foundation.
SRN News, I'm Tasha Stevens. Wall Street closing out the week on a down note after the Federal Reserve Chairman hinted at even higher interest rates. The Dow fell more than 1,000 points in a market rout. Moderna is suing Pfizer and BioNTech, citing technology patent infringement of its COVID-19 vaccine. Moderna doesn't want the vaccines pulled, but it does want a share of those two companies' profits. A lawsuit is filed against the city of Baltimore in the death of a driver who was killed by a group of people with squeegees. Police say Timothy Reynolds was shot and killed last month after he got out of his car and confronted the group with a baseball bat. A 15-year-old is charged with murder as an adult. Lawsuits have also been filed by the man's family, targeting the mayor, the police commissioner, and others. The family says city leaders acted with gross negligence, failing to protect the citizens, residents, and visitors to Baltimore from a known danger. This is SRN News.
I've been talking about the people at Stone Interiors from the very beginning. They did the incredible granite counters, the beautiful granite tabletop in my home. Our kitchen is our focal point of our house. The countertops are just gorgeous. When I talk about a local company with tremendous ethics, great workmanship, someone who sees a project through from start to finish, I'm describing Stone Interiors. So have you thought about some granite or marble countertops? What about a backsplash in your kitchen? You want to retile that bathroom? Did you know you can actually go online to stoneinteriors.com, go through their visualizer software, and design your whole kitchen, your whole bathroom project? It is so cool. If that's not for you and you want to visit their showroom, they'd love to have you come out and visit at Stone Interiors, or they can even come to you when it's convenient. For more than 20 years, Stone Interiors has done this thing the right way. Call them, 461-8950 to make an appointment, or visit them at stoneinteriors.com. That's 461-8950 or stoneinteriors.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Fran Halloran here. Now listen closely to what I'm about to say. I'm a business owner, and many of you listening right now, you're business owners as well. The first rule in owning a business is this: don't waste money. I see business owners waste their marketing dollars all the time. Not me. I figured out a long time ago, 8 years ago to be exact, that spending my marketing dollars at the point was not only intentional, but extremely profitable as well. If you're a small business owner, you owe it to yourself to sit down with Kevin Cohen and ask him to create a custom marketing plan for your business. He's looking for folks just like you who believe in local, to partner with him in 2022 and beyond. Trust me when I tell you, partnering with The Point works. You will see results and your marketing budget will no longer be wasted. Give Kev a call at 803-563-8558 and tell him the Money Coach sent you.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. I build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, so can you find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the High School Football Scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Central of Pageland has beaten the Carolina Bearcats tonight, 63-0 is that final score. And we've got, let's see, what else is in new here. Let's see. Daniel beats Easley. That one's finally over, 55-7. And those are the most recent scores come in. We'll go over all the scores again for you in just a little bit. Hear more from David Shelton as well. Got some more reporters standing by as we go to Brandon Alter from the Post and Courier of Charleston, covering the games in the Williamsburg County area and other spots in that area. He's got Palmetto Christian and Williamsburg Academy tonight. And if I recall the final score, Brandon, it was not pretty. Williamsburg Academy wins it big, 47-0.
Big night for Camden Moore for the Stallions. 3 touchdowns, 110 yards on 10 carries, two touchdowns on the ground, and a 26-yard receiving touchdown.
And a dominating defensive performance, apparently, by Williamsburg.
Yeah, allowing just 89 yards against Palmetto Christian's triple option defense. Stallion forced 4 turnovers, and Mac Brown, a senior for the Stallions defense, had a pick 6 to cap off the night.
Very good. Very good. Williamsburg looked pretty good to you?
Yeah, they're not as deep as they were last year when they had a good run. The Skeeza 2A State Championship game, finished runners-up. But their offense is another year older, and they look real good. Looking to make another run.
Hey, Brandon, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Not a problem, Phil.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Ian Guerin time. That sounds like a good last name, Guerin time. It's Ian Guerin time here on the High School Football Scoreboard. Welcome in, Ian.
Guys, how the heck are you?
We're doing great. Appreciate you hanging in there with us and getting through to us. Which game did you take in tonight over in the Horry County area?
Yeah, I was at Socastee, Silver Bluff. Socastee opened up their upgraded football stadium. I sent a couple pictures out on the old tweet box, and I got to tell you, the place is looking real good. I told one of their assistants tonight, I remember, covering games there in a press box, and then the next time I showed up, there was a sticker on the door that said no entry by the order of fire marshal. So, yeah, clearly things have gone a little better. Horry County Schools is, putting, this artificial turf on their other 8 stadiums. Obviously, Myrtle Beach has already had theirs due to their partnership with the city. But, Socastee comes into the game, and they just, honestly, they just came out, really firing on all cylinders. They were shutting Silver Bluff's offense down. Rocco Wojcik threw for a couple of really long touchdown passes. 60 and 50 yards in the first 4 minutes of the game. They were up 21-0 at halftime. Everybody's feeling good. You know, there's board members there from the school district, and everybody's high-fiving. And 4 minutes into the second half, Jordan Boyd, who is a name that everybody in this state needs to know right now, he comes in on a high snap. Rocco Wojcik goes to bring it out of the air, and before he knows it, Boyd is on top of him. It looks like an apparent collarbone break. Wojcik is going to be gone for a while, and anybody that's paid attention to Horry County sports the last 2 years knows that name is very influential. He's been starting at quarterback and at shortstop for the baseball team for Soxie since he was a freshman. This is a kid who the sky is the limit. He could probably play both college football and baseball if he wanted to. So obviously he's going to miss some time because of Jordan Boyd's hit. It was a clean hit. There was nothing dirty about it. But Boyd was in the backfield all night long, and all it took was one bad snap, and, you know, it may have kind of changed, you know, what things look like the next few weeks for Soxie. You know, this is their first 2-0 start since 2017. I tweeted something out earlier. This is the first time ever that Soxie and St. James have both been 2-0. You know, considering that they were, you know, St. James was opened in 2003, and they split this, you know, kind of zone of Horry County in half. I think that's kind of an important thing tonight, with St. James also beating Philip Simmons on the road.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It just shows, you know, things are picking up. I mean, Sockasty, they had that run under Hunter Renfro, and the coaches they had there were very good, and then they kind of had the drop off, and it looks like they were back on the, you know, moving back up here a little bit. They've got to overcome, of course, this tremendous loss of their quarterback, and as you well know, the next few weeks, very difficult schedule is in front of them.
Yeah, they got West Florence, and then they've got Myrtle Beach, and then they've got Dillon, and then they open up region play with Sumter. I mean, that sounds like just a fun 4 weeks of football right there for anybody in the state of South Carolina. So, you know, they do have a really good backup quarterback. His name is Quadir Scott. He's a left-hander. He's a hell of an athlete. He's actually the guy who caught that very first touchdown pass from Wojcik, and Wojcik just dumped it off to him, and he broke, you know, probably 5 tackles, and he outran guys, and he weaved through traffic. He was at Myrtle Beach Christian Academy last year, but he grew up with these guys. He went to Forest Brook Middle. He transferred back to Sockasty last year, and he was actually in the running for that starting quarterback job up until probably about a week before the CNB Kickoff Classic. You know, so this is a guy that they think has some, you know, a pretty high ceiling. I mean, you don't consider taking away Rocco's starting job unless this guy's pretty good, right? So, you know, they're going to kind of put the ball in his hands, see what he can do. He's you know, pretty mobile too. You know, I'd say in the mobility scale, you know, both Rocco and Quadir are pretty close. Rocco's got a little bit more accuracy throwing the ball, but hey, you know, until you really open things up and let the kid see what he can do, we just don't know. But that's what they're going to go into Westwood next week, and then, you know, the rivalry game in Myrtle Beach the week after that.
Hey, Ian, thank you for your perseverance in getting through to us. We really appreciate it, and enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ian Guerin with the story there on Sockasty. We'd heard from Chris earlier. Now Ian gives us more details. That's a tough blow for Sockasty, David. You got it going. You're winning a game. Things are looking good. You lose your quarterback during a time where you got a really tough stretch. I know they got a good, potentially good backup quarterback to step in there, but there's a reason the other guy was a starter. And so they're going to have to work without him for, you know, who knows how long, 3 weeks. And, you know, hopefully for them, it won't be any longer than that he'll be able to come back up here in a couple of 3 weeks. Let's see. Do we have David with us now, guys?
Working on it.
Okay. We'll get David back with us here momentarily. In the meantime, I'll start to recap the scores for you from across the state tonight. Again, a lot of holes in the upstate because games were delayed, and they're just sort of getting towards the finish line on many of these games. So we'll tell you what we've got. Powdersville beat Abbeville 51-44. Clennon over Lawrence, 55-28. Big win for Clennon there. Crescent downs Dixie, 34-10. Daniel tops easily, 55-7. Woodruff, 31. Fountain Inn, nothing. Sandy Creek, Georgia, 46. Greenwood, 21. Indianland, 28. Timberland, nothing. It was Irmo, 27. Lancaster, 20. Louisville, 50. Wagner Sally, 24. Lincoln County, Georgia, 27. McCormick, 6. And Seneca beat Palmetto 50-14. We also had a Pickens score, and that was Pickens 42, Franklin County, Georgia 17. So the Blue Flame get a win tonight over a team from the state of Georgia. Been a lot of crossover matchups between teams from South Carolina, teams from Georgia in the early part of the schedule. So a win for Pickens there. South Point Rock Hill postponed until 10 o'clock in the morning. Wade Hampton beat Travelers Rest 48-0. Gaffney Union County was canceled. 96-53. Ware Shoals nothing. And Belton Honeypath edged Westside 19-17. To the Midlands now. Now, most of the Midlands scores are in. It was Fairfield Central 41, Andrew Jackson 21, Appling County, Georgia 42, Aiken 7, Bamberg Earhart 36, Denmark Oler 20, Gilbert 49, Batesburg Leesville 14, Blythewood 43, Richland Northeast 7, Brooklyn Casey 31, Airport 20, Buford 35, McBee 8, Lake Marion 28, Calhoun County 22, Crestwood 37, Gray Collegiate 28, Hunter Connor Tyler 22, Eau Claire 12, Lakewood 30, Fox Creek nothing, Camden 53, Lugoff Elgin 7, Chapin 45, Mid Carolina nothing, Dorman 42, North Augusta 28, Hannah-Pamplico 26, North Central 20, Orangeburg Wilkinson 20, Keenan 8, Pillion 15, Columbia 12, Saluda 34, Ridge Spring Monetta 7, Sumter 15, Ridgeview 14, River Bluff 52, Swansea nothing, Lexington 63, South Aiken 56, Midland Valley 29, Strom Thurmond 23, Wade Hampton of Hampton 48, Allendale Fairfax nothing, Lower Richland 35, Westwood 8, White Knoll 36, Spring Valley 9, and Edisto beat Williston Elko 12-6. PD Grand Strand, most of the scores are in. We've got Andrews over Georgetown 32-12, Waccamaw 33, Carvers Bay 18, Central 63, Carolina Bearcats nothing, Dillon 41, Lamar nothing, Latta 31, East Clarendon nothing, Huntsville 68, Darlington nothing, West Florence 32, Lake City 7, Lee Central 28, Great Falls 8, Wilson 55, Marion 36, Marlboro County 40, Cheraw 12, Lakeview 34, Mullins 14, Loris 15, North Myrtle Beach 7, Manning 32, Scotts Branch 14, Socastee 21, Silver Bluff nothing, Oceanside Collegiate falls to South Florence. South Florence wins it 29-28. Double overtime, St. James 37, Philip Simmons 30. In the Low Country, almost everything is in here. We have Baptist Hill 26, St. John's 8, Cane Bay 30, Ashley Ridge 20, Cross 44, Hemingway nothing, Fort Dorchester 21, Buford 6, Hanahan 22, Berkeley 17. Academic Magnet 14, Military Magnet nothing, Porter-Gaud 41, Burke 12, Battery Creek 39, Ridgeland Hardyville 28. James Island 52, Stall nothing, Somerville 38, Carolina Forest 7, Lucy Beckham 8, Wando 6, West Ashley 7, May River 3, Well Branch 19, North Charleston 8. And in Skeeza, most scores are in. Clarendon Hall 43, Andrew Jackson Academy 16, Cardinal Newman 48, PD Academy 42, the Kings Academy 38, Conway Christian 16. It was Hammond 49, Florence Christian nothing, Pack 60, Harvest Christian Academy 16, Ben Lippen 34, Heathwood Hall 6, Holly Hill Academy 71, Holy Trinity 12. Bethesda Academy 40, John Paul II 24, Kings Academy 38, Wardlaw 16, Lawrence Manning 22, Pinewood Prep 20, Northside Christian 28, Greenwood Christian 12. Colleton Prep a winner over Northwood Academy 42. Still got to find that other score, but it was 42 to something. Somehow I erased Northwood's score. Dorchester Academy 22, Orangeburg Prep 20, Patrick Henry 6, St. John's Christian nothing, Lee Academy 35, Thomas Sumter 7, Williamsburg Academy 47, Palmetto Christian nothing, and Wilson Hall over Hilton Head Christian 28 to 7. All right, that's what we've got plotted thus far, and a quick check to see if any other new scores have come in the last little bits. We've got Woodmont Walhalla. That game's been postponed until 10 o'clock in the morning. It's gone final now. Northwestern over Clover 32-21. Broome beats Chesney 54-28. It's gone final. T.L. Hanna by a touchdown over Greenville 36-29. That's two close losses for Greenville to open up the season. Two big wins there for T.L. Hanna. That was a good one for them to get that one tonight at Serene Stadium. Okay, let's hit the break. Final break of the night. We'll come back and hear what David has to say about some of these games, some of these late-breaking scores. We'll get his final thoughts on that and wrap it up for this edition of the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. We'll be back after this break.
Score a touchdown with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Relax with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Okay, we're back. A couple of other scores that we are finding here and there. Jefferson, Georgia beat Wren tonight. Jefferson, Georgia has one of the best players in the country, Sammy Brown, in the 2024 class. 56-28, they double up Wren tonight. 56-28 for Jefferson, Georgia. A really good team. Wren doesn't have enough there for them. Also, in the Low Country tonight, we had First Baptist beat Bishop England 23-10. And also, I got that other half of the score that I could not find, and it was Colleton Prep 42, Northwood Academy 12. So I want to make things whole there. David, these most recent scores to come in, what'd you think about T.L. Hanna going on, holding on? I don't know how they did it, but they beat Greenville tonight at Serene Stadium to go to 2-0. That's another good win for them.
Yep, very, very solid victory. They're 2-0, and now Greenville is 0-2. And I'm sure people are panicking up there, but you got to remember they've lost to Dorman and T.L. Hanna.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's not like they're playing Sisters of the Poor here. They're playing some really good teams, and they had some holes to fill. So they're kind of getting better as they go. But Keohana lost 42 seniors from last year's team. And for them, you know, they've beaten two really good teams to open the season. So they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
How are they doing it? Yeah, I mean, you think it's just the system?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a system. I think it's a culture of believing, and they coach those kids from the 7th grade all the way through to they become varsity players in the same system. So it's something, and that's what the good programs do. I mean, that's why you see these good programs, the Dutch Forks and the Gaffneys and the Fort Dorchesters and the Abbevilles. You know, they don't really ever rebuild. You just bring in a new crop of guys that have been playing in the offense, and maybe they haven't played varsity level, but they know what to do. And then it's just a matter of getting them physically strong enough and throwing them out there. And that's, you know, we talk about this every year at the beginning of the year, and we talk about teams that are going to contend for state titles, and it's the same ones every year. I mean, it's hard to really just go, well, I don't think Gaffney's going to be any good this year, because there's a culture, that's a system. They got those players.
All right, we're down to the last few minutes tonight. Of course, every Friday night I want to have you have the opportunity to talk about one team, one cause. I know you did more speaking in the last week. Who'd you get a chance to talk to, and how'd you feel about it?
Well, I spoke to Oceanside Collegiate on Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday, and I felt good about it. I feel good every time I speak. I'm learning so much more about the situations that are happening around the country with fentanyl. And for those that are probably wondering what I'm talking about, you know, my son overdosed in January and was killed by fentanyl. And so I've kind of taken it upon myself to kind of educate people, mostly kids and parents. And I've been contacted by Broome High School. I'm going to set up something with them. And Rich Spring Minetta, I'm going in 2 weeks. I'm going there to speak to a couple of their teams at one time. So, you know, anybody listening, if you go to my website, one team, the number one team, the number one cause.com, and you can email me, or there's a phone number to call that'll ring to my phone. And you know, I want to come and speak to as many schools. It doesn't have to be teams. I mean, I'll speak to the entire student body. The more people I can get in front of, the better. And I'm a little disappointed that some schools have, you know, coaches have kind of tried to line me up, and I've been kind of shot down by administration. I think it's a subject that people are scared to talk about. And I'm not going to get on my soapbox politically, but, you know, we'll talk about things in our schools, you know, in certain aspects of life, and we don't have any problem talking to kids about that. Well, this is more important than any of that. I mean, we got to save our kids' lives. We don't understand how many kids are dying, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids all over this country. And it just seems like people are afraid to broach the subject like it's a negative. It's not a negative. It's a positive, and people need to hear. And if they don't listen to me, listen to somebody else. But I'm here, and I'm free. I mean, I'll go anywhere, anytime, and I don't charge a dime. I just want to get in front of these kids.
Well, yes, they should reach out to you, absolutely, and let you do your thing, because there's nobody better to tell the story. You've lived it firsthand, unfortunately, twice, and you can share your insight and your thoughts about everything that's gone on there. We should also take a moment to wish the best here, David, to Blacksburg coach Jet Turner, who's going to miss the rest of the season, dealing with relapse of his cancer issue. And I know a GoFundMe page has been set up for him as well, the High School Coaches Association, trying to get folks behind him. And I know you and I, you know, everybody associated with our program certainly want to wish him the best.
Absolutely. Good dude, good football coach. And more importantly than a good football coach, he's just a good guy, a good man. And, you know, we hope that, you know, he gets through this a second time. It's very difficult. And, but we're all praying for him.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, you think you got it beat one time, it comes back. That's got to be heartbreaking and really tough on you mentally as well. So we wish him the absolute best. Okay, David, final thoughts looking ahead to next week. Have you had a chance to kind of peek ahead, see what games will have your attention leading up to them next Friday night?
Well, the one game that I'm really interested to see, and we've mentioned Georgia versus South Carolina last.
Oops. David drop on us? We lose David? If so, we'll wish him well and wish him a good week. Pat, have we lost David?
It seems so.
It seems so. Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate David's contributions to the show tonight as we're transitioning. A couple of kinks there, but we'll get them worked out as time progresses. Always happens when you're handing off the baton and working in new folks. Everything will be fine moving forward. I saw a note here I wanted to get to. Where was it? About game in the upstate. You guys put it on. Oh, Dutch Fork is up 24-19 on Spartanburg. 24-19. Dutch Fork leading. 8 minutes to go. And so that's a good one. They're still playing up at Spartan High. We'll have the scores up on our website later at sportstalksc.com. Check them out. Thank you, J.P. Barry, and thank you, Pat Daniel, and thanks to everyone who contributed tonight. We'll see you next week.
It's Kev and Brian in the morning. The news, the traffic 4 times an hour, and your daily forecast. Topics to